Christian Sesma.
Shipper Fuzz.
Let's bump mics.
Nigel.
You got your hands full.
Let's bump mics ever so gently.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So where'd you come from? Because actually not where'd you come from, but where'd you fly into?
LAX.
Fly from LAX.
Cincinnati, LAX.
And where'd you go?
I was just in Cincinnati proper for the most part. I was there. That was this last trip, and I know we spoke, and I was in Baton Rouge basically for the entire goddamn summer.
So you've acquired quite the frequent flyer miles.
I wish, dude. It's not on me.
Really?
Like, I wish they were on my freaking flyer miles. Yeah, somebody's coming up on some miles this year.
So, what is your production company? Is it
Sescree Film, yeah.
Okay.
Sescree Film. I'm putting down my free popcorn.
Yeah, you got a popcorn.
It's actually
card,
not free. It's not free, but nothing in life is free.
So, except for you got a popcorn card. Let's talk about that.
Yes, Mary Pickford Theaters.
'Cause that's where we are.
Offers an annual popcorn pass for $29.99. Best deal in town. Get it. Bam, bam.
Nice. So, and you're drinking, what is it called? LaCroix? I can never pronounce that.
We're calling it LaCroix.
LaCroix.
And your name is Nigel.
Nigel.
There it is. See?
Exactly. Perfect. So, what's the whole deal with scouting? Because you were saying you were scouting.
Yeah. So, I have this movie that they want me to do. I mean, it's supposed to be end of the year, but it's probably going to be early next year in Ohio, and it's like a prison fight movie type thing. I'm kind of liking it. Like, it's a little bit. I'm saying it's like 8 Mile-ish without the rapping and more kind of like some prison fight movie kind of thing. I don't know. But that's where they want to shoot, and my cinematographer lives out there. He's been wanting me to go out there for a minute, and then a buddy, one of my best friends, is a big chef out there. So it was kind of a really good, perfect storm of fun stuff, and scouted the city, and they have a really cool film-friendly environment, and did that, and I did a pop-up on Friday before I left. That was fun. Slang some tacos out there. Brought some bomb tacos to Cincinnati.
So do you travel with the actual meat all free, like wrapped up, or how does that work? You just go and spot buy it?
You go to the spot.
Bring your seasoning?
Mm-hmm. No, you just do it all there.
You do use your father's recipe, because I know that he was a chef.
Yeah.
Owner.
Yeah, we had Guacamole's restaurant in Palm Springs for the last 30 years. He just sold it this year. And, I took over the brand, and now we're doing a bunch of new fun spin-offs. I'm like the indie Jon Favreau. That's the best way to describe it. I'm like, yeah, that's about right. It's like, Jon Favreau has like the chef show, the chef movie, and he's cooking all the time. But he's obviously like one of the biggest directors on the planet. But
that's awesome. Food and movies that you can't ask for much better than that.
I never thought I'd be back in the food game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So it's funny that all of a sudden I'm like, man, this is a blast, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Do you remember when that first started, when your dad started his business?
Dude, I was 9th grade. We opened up November 1st, 1989. I was super pumped because the night before was Halloween, and I got to make out with like the neighborhood hoe. It was memorable. High five.
Yeah, that deserves it. Yeah.
It was,
the neighborhood hoe.
It was, and it was
That's a big deal.
I was like third in line, but I still got to make out with her. I'm not going to name names because if you're from the hood, you might know this person. But it was funny.
I'm sure she remembers.
Probably not.
No?
It was not good.
Okay.
It was not good. Like, the goodness didn't probably start till 18 or 19.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, I was the dorky guy. So, still am the dorky guy.
Were you always interested in movies?
No. Well, I was always interested. I always was interested in watching movies. I was like, I'm the movie guy. Like, I'm always watching movies, always watching TV. I've always been a gigantic movie buff. I had no idea that I was going to be in the movie business. So it's a trippy turn of events, and that kind of very much sums up my life in a nutshell. It's like this crazy adventure of stuff that's like, okay, I guess we're doing that.
Can we talk about the origins of Christian and the film industry?
Yeah, it's like Wolverine. It's like I got the origins. Yeah, Wolverine origins. Yeah, man. I mean, I went to school. I went to San Diego State. But look, man, we're having a podcast, so it's like, and it's a local podcast, which is fun. So I get to talk about like the true origins of how that happened and stuff. And like, I mean, dude, a lot of people know me. A lot of people know my story. I've been sober since I was 18. Like, I was out here running the streets with a lot of these guys. You know what I mean? Like, and I was kind of in the music business a little bit. Like, not music business, but I was like MCing and all that stuff. And that game kind of caught me up really quick. And so, dude, I went to rehab, all that stuff at 18, 1995. And so after that, I was able to kind of turn it all around and go off to college and do all this kind of stuff. So in college, I was writing a lot. and got into a lot of creative writing. And I think one thing kind of led to another, and was like, I'm going to write stories. Just why not, you know? And I got my degree in cultural anthropology. That's my degree.
So did you go out and buy a camera and you just started doing it, or you just met guys on the campus?
So it's funny,
you need a crew for that kind of thing.
So I still in college, I still didn't get anything. Like I still wasn't in the, had no clue that my life was going to go that way. And I graduated in 2003. And my dad's like, dude, come back to the restaurant and we'll franchise this business out. And because I was managing Rubio's restaurants out there in San Diego.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Dude, yeah, I was like, so it's funny. It's like, it's still so ingrained in me, you know, the restaurant business. And Rubio's, and came back home, settled in out here. And then that summer, my appendix ruptured. And I was hospitalized for a month. It was close. It was a close call.
Gnarly.
It was a close, baby Jesus was right next to the bed.
Wow.
7 pound, 6 ounce baby Jesus. No, it was close, dude. It really was.
That's gnarly.
And so, I was dude, legit, left open. It was nasty, dude. Nasty. And on that hospital bed, I had nothing but time, and I was reading a lot of books, and I read a book from Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. It was Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew, and then a Tarantino article, and they were just like, dude, fucking pick up a camera and just do it. And literally, however you want to call it, man, the clouds parted and the friggin', sun filter came through, and I was like, I'm going to try that out. And got out of the hospital, recovered, and I made a short film that year. And it was good, and it got into the Palm Springs International Festival of Short Films. Right off the bat. It's I look back on it, it shouldn't have.
Do you have the old reels? Or
oh yeah, I have everything. Yeah. I have everything. It's somebody was feeling really generous that time, because looking back on it now, it's so amateur, but I guess you go I could see it. There was a story, it had a little something on it, and so it was cool. And that kind of was man, I'm really enjoying this. This is pretty cool. I think I'm kind of good at this. And then a year later, I made another short film, and that was cool, and it was badass. And I'm like, I think I'm good at this, you know. And then I raised, with the help of my mom and dad, and an aunt, that one rich aunt and uncle, that one.
Everybody's got one.
Everybody that got that one, I'm like, yo. They're like, yeah, here's 5Gs, 6Gs,
yeah.
And so
it's a blessing, yeah.
It is, and it's a blessing that they supported me, and then I was able to pull together about $15,000, and I made my very first feature film.
Wow. So that goes into talent, or did the talent usually come?
No.
Is that just camera, goes into audio,
yeah, all that? It was the production.
Pre-post.
Yeah, it was the production of
it. Because again, it does take a crew to make something happen.
And I was dude, at the time, this was 2005, 2006, and it was yo, you're not legit unless you're making a real movie. I knew I did shorts and stuff like that, but for me, I was if I don't be taken seriously, I got to make a full-length movie, And I don't think the actors got paid. It just we fed them every day, and some location charges, and traveling, and it was a fucking ambitious ass little movie. It was called 630. It was about a bunch of high school white kids that get caught up in some dope, end up across the border into even more shit. So
which border are we talking about?
Tijuana.
Mexicali or Tijuana?
No, TJ.
TJ.
And we actually went to TJ.
Even wilder.
We actually we went there with these fucking little kids, these underage kids, and shot these shots, and were chased out of there by federales and shit. And we made it across, but it was dude, we were wilding since the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's such an adventure. It was awesome. And that movie got bought. And it was in Fry's and Blockbusters and everything everywhere.
6 p.m.?
6:30.
6:30, yeah.
6:30. Yeah.
All right.
So it was that was my very first thing, and it was it was wild. Dude, this was the third thing you do, third time you ever pick up a camera.
That's awesome to go shoot a movie in Tijuana. I'm a big fan of Mexico in general. My band, we go out there. We're kind of known out in TJ. We got a show November 1st, what you call a Batman.
Oh, tight.
So on Revolucion Road, the Black Box Theater, and we go to Mexicali all the time. People wear the shirts, and we love it, man. We go out there, we grab out, have some beer, and then cruise back and just stay out of trouble.
Yep.
You know,
which is hard to do.
Which is hard. I mean, yes and no.
What I mean. It's
I go out there and I never have any. I've been going to Mexico for at least 10 years playing music, and I think I've had to pay a cop one time. I was driving from Ensenada,
that's not bad,
and then to Mexicali, and got pulled over. And
that's the drive, though.
And all my dudes, Michael DeRozzo, those guys are all in the back, all drunk, and I'm the one driving. I usually wear cowboy boots, so I took them off. It's like a long drive, and the cop pulled me over. He's like, "All right, I'm going to take you with me." I'm like, "Well," I was kind of buying time. I'm like, well, let me put my shoes on. Let me take my boots. I'm not going to jail without that. And I was kind of buying time, and I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to get out of trouble.
Right.
Especially with this face, right? And Michael, come on, Michael, wake up. He's like, oh. I'm like, dude, talk to this dude. Luckily, another cop came that spoke better English. Yeah. And he's like, it's gonna be $300. And I said, I got $300 ahead because I don't want to give away my secrets, but I keep them in my boots, keep me the money. But I think we gave him like $80 between us, and then we were on our way. Nice. But it was one of those things where I told him, I said, no, I'm not getting in the car, which was kind of brave. Maybe I was just kind of fed up from the tour. I'm like, I just want to go home. I'm not going to jail. No, whatever I got to do. So I guess people that are watching, just have some money with you.
Right.
Because that's all it really comes down to.
You kind of do. You got to have
unless you're being a knucklehead and fighting the cops.
Right. You're not going to win that fight.
No way.
No way. They don't give a fuck out there.
So let's talk about going to Mexico. Do you have to get is it a permit? Do you have to go? Because I know you have to declare sometimes.
We just
guerrillaed it.
We hit our cameras. We just like it was the camera was the same size as one of those DSLRs now. I mean, which at the time it was like a mini DV cam. We didn't even have HD at the time. It was all standard depth.
Did you
stuff.
scout or you just went on location right away?
We kind of knew what we were gonna do. It was one night. We just went one night and just ran around and got shots.
How many guys on the
shoot? It was about 8 of us. It was about 8 of us, 2 cars, and dude, it was hilarious.
That sounds awesome, actually.
It really was. I mean, and I have like 1,000 stories like that since, but that kind of set the precedence of being that guy that I've been called overambitious a ton. And I've always been like, how is that a bad thing?
I think I was going to say that's actually a great thing.
Yeah, me too. I think that too. And but I've definitely been called that more than once by the higher ups, if you will.
Well, I'm a fan of your stuff. It's great.
Thanks,
and you actually
same.
Thank you. Yeah,
obviously, we've worked together.
Yeah, we actually in the theater. I don't know, it might be this theater or one of the theaters. You had a Vigilante Diaries came out, and then you used like 3 of our songs from Slipping Into Darkness.
Amazing stuff. Amazing music.
It was really cool to sit in the theater and watch it, and like dudes from Reservoir Dogs, like it's
Madsen. There's some featured stuff.
He's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, I was about to say Madsen because he keeps his razor blade inside his boot.
He seems like a rock and roll badass dude. Like the real deal.
Mike is cool, dude. Like all these guys are great guys.
Yeah, when I saw that he was part of the cast, I'm like, no way, Reservoir Dogs. Like, because in Quentin Tarantino, I was going to even say that earlier. You mentioned him. I see a lot of that in your movies. Yeah, like just call it violence, call it whatever you want to call it, but it's done well. Yeah, it's action. It's not holding back.
No, I've basically been come to be known as like the indie action guy for sure.
Like the Vigilante, going back to that one. I mean, the shots. It was. I mean, I don't know how you did it, but you hit it out of the park. That was badass.
Ambitious. It's like, and again, relatively, we made that movie on a modest ass budget comparatively to stuff, and it's like I always go on record for saying it's the biggest indie action movie I've seen. It's gigantic, dude, for what it's like a mini Fast and Furious or something like that.
No, I enjoyed it, and I even purchased it on I think it was
nice.
I forget what Amazon or Roku, one of those channels I have, but I found it, and
it's on there,
and I got it. Yeah,
dude, it was, and then HBO bought it, and then it was on HBO Go for a while, like years. Yeah, it was on for like 2 years. They just took it off.
So how did you get in touch with? It's kind of a broad question, but how did you get in touch with the likes of those people, Tony Trejo and?
Yeah, over time, I think we've been putting in the work over time. Danny and Trejo and like a lot of the cast members are friends. Like actually, they're all friends, and the guys that are my producing partners, and like we always call each other the film family, like the kind of core film family. Everybody just knows everybody in Hollywood.
Kind of like a Adam Sandler thing, where it's the same kind of cast, but it works. It works.
It's definitely one of those things that it just was this hodgepodge kind of project that we made work, and it all started with just me and Jason Mewes like wanting to do this web series, and it kind of came out from there.
I noticed in that movie as well, you filmed like you were by Mexicali or Calexico El Centro.
Yeah,
We did some shots there.
We weren't. It was here.
It looked like it actually.
Yeah, well, I think it's labeled. I think
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
In fact, it's labeled Mexicali.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
But we shot out here in the in Edom Hill and like the
I did
dump.
recognize some shots. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hot
what we did is
Springs,
we took some like drone shots of like the dump back there and some of those big open areas, and we actually we VFX comp stuff in there too. So we just kind of spruced it up.
Is that like you have to pull permits? How does that all work? Is it? I mean, you just do your thing.
No. There's like obviously with this there was a big permit process, but not that big. Palm Springs is pretty film friendly. DHS is pretty film friendly. I shot another movie that was shot like half in DHS called The Night Crew, and we turned DHS upside down for like a full couple weeks, like explosions and guns and stuff like that. It was fun, and that had a lot of good people in it. So yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah. What's your next project? Are you working on anything right now?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're scouting.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's like, man, when you're in this business, dude, you have to have like 5 things. You have to have like 5 projects going at one time, or like, because you got to like Jackson Pollock, the whole thing. Like, you don't know what's gonna pop and what's not gonna pop. And it's also usually like the one that you're waiting for doesn't happen, and then it's something that like you're just not expecting. It's weird.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. You just kind of don't quite know what's about to pop.
You're kind of laying your chips.
You are. You're like we don't know what's gonna hit. You
Double
don't.
Zero.
You really don't, dude.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna hit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's at least at this stage of the game. But then again, my producing partner, they just won the Oscar, dude. So
what did they win?
For Green Book.
Oh wow.
So they won for writing and for Best Picture and Best Writer, and and so him and I had the script that we were doing in Louisiana, and we still got to do more of it, but same thing, same crew. So we didn't 2 years ago, you never would have thought he would go all the way, and he went all the way. And so it's surreal to see like the fam up on the stage getting the fucking Oscars.
Does that you think makes things easier or harder, knowing that like, okay, now I gotta recreate lightning in a bottle?
No, it's pretty. I think it's easier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a musician, so it's one of those things where it's like,
I think for them, like I said, that wasn't my project.
Good at what you do.
I think it's a lot of timing for that movie. For a lot. So it's a great movie, a lot of timing, a lot of politics, a lot of hustling, a lot of PR. It's very complicated. So, yeah.
How'd you hook up with Rampage Jackson?
Rampage.
He seems like a funny guy.
Rampage is awesome. So we had a mutual. Okay, so actually now it's funny that we're here at the Mary Pickford. Mary Pickford put on this thing called the AFM Fest. No, not AFM. It was it was AFM. It was AFM Fest. Gosh, like years back, and the guys who were putting it on, good guys, and they were one of them managed Rampage, and. He brought Rampage to set when I was shooting this movie called AWOL with RZA and his other guys and stuff like that, and we just hit it off, man. And like Rampage, I've been a fan for a long time, and Rampage has become one of my best homies. Like, you're good dudes, I
see a lot of like behind the scenes with him, and he just seems like a character.
Dude, he's
just
same.
Just like how my friends from DHS are, just wild.
The same. Super cool.
And just just watch him go.
Super cool dude. Like I said, a lot of these, I've been blessed to work with a lot of amazing people. I don't have like a crazy horror story with like crazy actors did some wild and shit. No, it's all been pretty.
You got good people around you. I'm sure that's
really
why you keep them close.
Yeah. Really good people. So it's been good. And then him and I have another a project. That's one of the projects we have. We want to shoot this other thing in Baton Rouge that they're looking into that we're trying to do in January. And it's crazy. Like I'm calling it like a neo-blaxploitation movie.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, it's wild. So it's like it's like Rambo First Blood.
Yeah.
So it's him going up against like a whole bunch of Nazi dudes out in the South.
Gnarly.
It's wild.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So like I said, I've been trying to do that movie for a couple years. It's his baby. It's his story. I wrote it, and a couple years ago, I wrote it 3 years ago, and we've been trying to get it made ever since. And at the time, everyone was like, we can't shoot this. This is crazy. Like, what kind of thing is this? How is this kind of like crazy guys infiltrating the government? I'm like, bro, that shit's happening. And then now it's like mainstream shit. You know what I mean? So now it's more prevalent than ever. So, and that's why I'm calling it neo-blaxploitation, because that's what blaxploitation films were all about. It was about like this showcasing, the oppression of, people of color. With that kind of stuff. It was pretty wild. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy flick.
That's awesome. How do you pitch that to him? you just give him your idea and he trusts you with everything, or yeah, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
It's like partnership.
Yeah, because we worked. He was just basically like, hey, this is what I want to do. Here's kind of my ideas on it. I just went off and wrote it, and it was great.
Nice. Yeah. Is there anything that we can talk about that you want to plug besides that? Just because we gotta wrap it up. Our video guy's telling us that we got a couple minutes left.
Okay, video guy.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, working on breaking in the TV game, and partnered up with some great people for the TV show that I created. It's basically the first Latino superhero per se, and
that's actually perfect timing for all that.
It's awesome, dude, and I have like an amazing team and amazing group of showrunners and executive producers that like I'm really, really like lucky to be surrounded by. And it's just because I have a great team, like my agent, manager, everybody's like really, really amazing. So
yeah, that's one thing. Maybe people fall short where they don't get the right kind of team behind them.
It's crucial, dude.
Even with the music industry, you need your tour manager, you need your A&R, you need everybody doing a certain job.
Yep.
A lot of guys want to be purely indie, but then at the end of the day, Facebook can only get you so far.
It is, and like, look, man, I'm married, and I got kids, I got shit to pay.
Yeah.
Like I can't be like. We gotta make real moves.
And you need to also use that time to be creative too. I'm sure, like when you're sitting behind a computer screen for hours, you probably want to pull your hair out. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm writing this brand new thing right now that's so totally out of my genre box, but I've been wanting to do it. It's like it's a Latino Christmas rom-com.
Yeah.
Bro, like I'm the action guy. You know what I mean?
Sounds cool though.
It's super cool. It's super cool. It's like so it's real. It's a little bit autobiographical a touch, which is weird for me to be writing so close to home. Because I'm always writing like kind of fantasy-ish or like about some other character that's nothing like me, so in some way, shape, or form. But it's awesome, and it's cool to be, on the forefront of the Latinx movement in Hollywood too with these guys, and creating new content for that, in movies and TV, and kind of pushing that envelope for telling stories of for people like myself, because there's just no representation. There is, but it's so minimal comparatively.
Yeah, and if you feel that strongly about it, I'm sure you're gonna put it with full conviction. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we're hitting it. We're hitting it hard.
It hits home, and we are in the Coachella Valley, which is a Hispanic community for the most part, and you're doing it for everybody.
Yeah. So
you're like a hometown hero. It's awesome. Without being a cheeseball, but there's a few people out here. Cub Swanson. Christian. I mean, there's a few guys out here that are like that are really like. There's kids that are looking up to you people, and it's awesome.
No, that's awesome.
It's good to have that, and there's very few. It's not like we're oversaturated in Los Angeles.
No, it's true.
Like what you're doing really inspires people.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game. Like it really is, without sounding like cliche and cheesy. It is about giving back, because it's about the next generation, and what kind of stories they're going to tell, and what kind of impact they're going to make. Because dude, I mean, I have kids, and we all have family members, this, that, and the other, brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever, and it is about pushing that envelope forward, because we're living in strange times, and we need to be pushing those agendas.
You're going to leave your legacy to your family and friends, and that's awesome, and it's great that they can see it on the silver screen behind us.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mary Pickford.
Man. Thanks, Mary Pickford, Ted, JJ, everybody.
Yeah, what'd you say? Where's JJ at?
Where's JJ at?
Yeah. No, he was awesome. He helped us find power and everything. But
no, they're great here.
But
like I said, I'm here a lot.
Yeah, you got the popcorn card.
Dude, I got this is like I'm here. I mean, it's like homework.
We got to catch a movie here one day,
bro. Anytime.
And let's do a follow-up podcast one of these days.
Yeah.
And let's just see what's going on with Christian, because again, man, a lot of respect for you, and your films are done very beautifly.
Thanks, dude.
I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thanks for sitting down.
All right, brother. It's all good.
We'll keep it going and talk about the next one later.
Let's do it.
High Desert Podcast.